Have you ever been curious of just how hard it is to be a ground type trainer inside of the ancient Hisui region? Well, look no further, as we are playing as the estranged family member of Rourke and Brian from the Sinnoh region. We land on Prelude Beach, being greeted by a professor of sorts, very confused on why we're here, kind of who we are, but the whole place is kind of sandy, so we identify ourselves that way and have to try to trudge on to find familiarity inside of the ground typing. I don't really like any other typings, and Sandy does not deserve to have all these crazy things. We do have a little bit of a hiccup, as there's no kind of ground type encounters before some important battles here. Geodude is going to be the first encounter that we will be able to see through the ore deposits. However, we can't see this until we are at least past the Mai fight, which is right at the first bridge. Mai doesn't have a lot of Pokemon. I mean, it's only a Munchlax, but we still have a pretty important fight before finally seeing our first eligible ground type Pokemon to add to the roster, Geodude. And Geodude is the only ground type that we can use until we beat the Lord of the Land. There's nothing else here. There's other ground type Pokemon in general on this part of the Pokedex, those being Sandy Cloak, Wormadam, who we can't evolve in this part of the map. We also have the ability to evolve Shellos into Gastrodon, who's going to be way overleveled, and the last would be Landorus. Great. So because of this, we decided to get our agent rank up a good amount so that we can abuse the use of TMs as more TMs come available. I have to do some training with Geodude before trying our hand at the Alpha Cricketune hanging out at the next camp location. This Cricketune had stopped us for a good little while just because, Alphas are able to have a different kind of move that it normally wouldn't learn. So, of course, Cricketune is equipped with Quad Effective Absorb into our Geodude, making the most out of our low special defense stat and our weaknesses. There's not really a lot we can do, but try to get lucky with some Mud Slap evasions as it makes us obscure, but as you see on our first attempt, it does not work so well. After losing 5 times in a row, I go ahead and grind up Geodude to level 17 and try again. On our 7th attempt, there was a little bit of a change of pace as we used Mud Slap, got obscurity, and actually dodged one of the absorbs. So me thinking that we're going to be strong enough to try and kill this Cricketune, I go for a strong style rollout, which gets it so close to death. But since we are using a strong style move, we are now prone to be a little bit slower in our actions, which lets Cricketune still get a free KO on us. Oh, God. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, maybe level 18 will do it. We also use the Grit Dust item so that we can try to enhance our effort values, and at level 19 we give it another girl for a tent. This sequence on its own has single-handedly made me hate this jazz bug. Anyway, on attempt 23 we get hit by Absorb as usual. Mud Slap goes through and gets us obscured, which allows us to dodge the next Absorb that would have killed us. Next turn, Geodude goes for a second Mud Slap, and Cricketune misses Absorb once again. We go for a strong style rollout, and of course, it also lives on 1 HP. Our obscurity works 2 turns in a row, and we're able to finally kill the Cricketune. My gosh, that took way over an hour to do. I am so bad. And hopefully inside the rest of the run, as soon as we get more Pokemon and whatnot, you know, we get more levels on things, we won't have any bosses that just open up with a strong style move and kill us in one hit. I spoke too soon, didn't I? Damn it! So, of course, as I am stonewalled once again, I decide to just keep going over and over again, expecting the Goomy to do something different, as I'm not doing anything different. I think that's something about the definition of insanity, but I'm not sure. I end up deciding that, hey, maybe one more level won't hurt. And this time, Goomy goes for a normal styled bubble. And because of that, and its pretty mediocre stats, I am able to knock it out in one hit of a strong style rollout. Why did it live on one? Oh my god. I decided to actually use my brain this time and go for Bulldoze, since it is so much stronger than base rollout. I don't know why I didn't click it earlier. Could have saved me some hairs on my head, as I was ripping out a lot already because of Cricket Tune. But for certain, there's no way that there's anything else on this island in this entire region that can stop us now, right? Oh no. I got oddly motivated to get to the next star rank, which allowed us to get even more TMs, namely being Fire Punch. That will be more important inside of this fight versus Glaceon. And of course, teach it to Geodude. Maybe at level 24 we'll be able to hit. Of course we don't. 25 per chance? Nope, still not living. Alright, it's time to evolve for Graveler. Powder Snow does not do us in at all, and Rock Slide, which is gained upon evolution, knocks out the evolution. This time, with confidence, I am actually able to say we're good to go. There's nothing else in front of us except for the Frenzied Lord. Cleavor. It is a rock and bug type, but we're not going to deal with all that battling shenanigans. We're just going to make it run to the tree so that we can throw a bunch of bulbs, have it run away, and, you know, calm down everything that's happening over here. I think they're pretty impressed with what we did with just our Graveler here, especially since we didn't have to do any battles, but I'm looking forward to having some teammates finally. So let's go on to the next part of the region. Ray stops us before there, and we have to beat up his Mime Jr. as well as Pikachu before going to the most ground-filled zone in the entire playthrough, Crimson Mirelands. I mean, you can see the swamp and bogs inside of here, and I am so ready to add some Pokemon. First off, we see a shaking tree pretty early in to the map, in which a Sand Cloak Burmy appears. Oh, that's excellent. That's going to be a great addition. I've never used Burmy before. We do fight against a creepy man named Volo, and not realizing that I still have Burmy on our team, this is going to be the only time in which I was kind of stuck. I got really confused. I mean, the cloak looked like a ground type, you know, so we just kind of hung out there, and Gibble is not able to do enough to Burmy, and I only have Struggle Bugs, so I just take it as some experience and use this experience to evolve it into Wormadam. Good deal. And I'm very excited to see what this Pokemon can do. I think it gets some crazy moves in the future. We have to go and get a piece of a wall back for the Pearl Clan, and have the fortune of seeing the Fortune Sisters for the first time. A Toxic Croak it isn't really do much to our Graveler, so I mean, good deal for us. And we get the wall fragment back from them. Why did we do this? Well, I just want the bear. And we do find some more encounters inside of the nastiness of the bog. First off, being a Hippopotamus. Sorry, I don't know what a Pokemon is. As well as catching an Onix. And with this, we actually have a decent amount of team members. I'm actually surprised on how soon we're able to rack up the party members. Kappa calls over the Ursaluna, another ground type, by the way, and we have to battle it since it's apparently frenzied. Graveler does fall to the big bear, but we have a lot of support now, so he doesn't need to do everything on its own. I go for our Wormadam next, who is able to get some attack drops thanks to Struggle Bug, but it also struggles to keep up because that Ursaluna is insane. After a good Mud Bomb from Hippopotas, we are able to take out the bear, but since it wasn't really emerging with that yellow light, we're a little confused on why Ursaluna was this way. But yeah, no, we are also given the ability to ride it now, so that's pretty cool. So, next on our list is finding the real problem here in the actual Frenzied Lord, which is inside of the control of Warden Azaru. And before we are able to quell that Lord, we have to go catch another Pokemon, being Rhyhorn. Good deal for us. He's not going to see any screen time, I'm sorry. We make it to the Lady of the Ridge, Lilligant, who likes to stunt on these hoes, literally, but I don't really mind too much. I do take a little bit of damage, but overall, it's not really a hard fight. After quelling the Lord, we are still able to get a couple more encounters, so it's time to add some more teammates who will eventually be ground types. First on that list is a Sinnoh starter, Turtwig, who's very rare and kind of secluded in its own area. After trying to run away from a mama bear, we steal a baby bear. Oh, that's too good. We also are able to find a Barboach, who I have never used before in any playthrough, so see how it goes. But Volo is starting to creep Sandy out just a little bit. There's a lot of concern behind those blank eyes, I swear. We do also need to evolve some Pokemon, specifically our own Teddy Ursa into Ursaluna, which requires the Peat Block and running around the Crimson Mirelands for evolution items, as well as so many other items to try and level up and evolve all of our guys. It's a really grueling process, and sometimes you find random notes like, I don't care about Old Verse 13. Anyway, if we have to do some more discovery on ourselves inside of the village and try to find our own peace with where we're at, and Kamado does a good job of saying that Pokemon are scary, and I'm a little bit more skeptical about working for them. Merit points are a fun tool that we also need for another evolution item. They come inside of satchels very randomly. You literally just have to fly in and out of maps to be able to spawn them, with the chance to spawn them. It's never a guarantee. But there's a few items that we need to evolve some of the Pokemon that we have, and you know, this part of the process took way too long inside of, you know, actually trying to get this video out. So now this little team of 6 Pokemon is ready to get some enhancements, and with these enhancements, we are so ready to go to the next part of the map. I'm feeling way too strong. Sandy is feeling herself, and we also get a 5th star on our rank. Try and get some more TMs before going to the next Lord location, which currently does not have one. With our expansion of TMs, we go ahead and do a little bit of busy work, as there's a lot more useful items and TMs and different moves and strategies that we can employ, except Wishcast. The best special water type move it gets is Water Pulse. Anyway, it is time for the beach episode at Cobalt Coastlands, and Iridium wants to battle us. She is just like earlier, where she had her Glaceon, and that thing just nuked my Steelix. My gosh, huge crit, by the way. Anyway, Oscar goes and gets some revenge, and the secondary Eevee is nothingness. We meet the son of the Lord, Growlithe, and my big brother Rourke would have loved to have one of these guys. I mean, a fire and rock type, that'd be great against the grass types that are brought in, but terrible against the water, I guess. Why is Volo everywhere? Can you stop following me? I really don't appreciate it. Please, I don't need you near me. We do have to meet with Iskand, who is able to procure and cook up Basket Legion's favorite food so that we can go and visit Fire Spit Island. So this is the one time where we actually have to catch a Pokemon that isn't a ground type and use it for some other random means. Since it has to move Dark Pulse, it is able to make Basket Legion's food smell interesting enough, I think. There's some aroma to it, but obviously the fish likes it, and so does the Fortune Sisters. In the rush and scare of surprise, they end up nabbing one of the Growlithes. Of course, they grabbed the wrong Growlithe, as the smaller one was the Lord, and as they're kind of teasing this Growlithe to try and do its bidding, it's not being responsive. Clover brings an Abominus Note to a volcano, so I think she was kind of asking for it when I sent out my Golem with Fire Punch. I mean, the scene just called for it. Coin is next with her trusty Toxicroak, and after knocking out my Golem sadly, we do retaliate with our Wormadam, who has a good amount of coverage. I mean, it has Confusion, it has Gust, it has Earth Power, and it has Struggle Bug. Those are pretty solid moves. Last but not least is Charm, who starts out with a Rhydon. Sorry, not a Rhyhorn. We are able to take it out with our big old bear, though, as Big Bear is pretty darn good. Ursaluna then misses Gengar as it is asleep, and we have to kind of close things out with Wish Cash and another Earth Power. Good deal that we got to close things out, and our little Growlithe friend got inspired, evolving into Arcanine and instantly getting shocked by lightning. It is, I didn't know it had the ability Lightning Rod, but now it's yellow and wants to fight us. So again, I'd try to go ahead and go through the process of calming it down. I'd never seen this move actually get unleashed before because I was zoned out. But basically, what it does is huge damage. I still won on this same attempt too, so I mean I was lucky for that. But here we go through the next Lord. We've coiled 3 inside of the 5 areas, so we're doing some pretty good progress, I would say, as a ground type trainer. Next, we have to meet the diva himself, Melly, and go to the Coronet Highlands. This next area is going to be very fun. But before then, of course, we do have some battling to do against Adaman. He dies pretty quickly, as we are still quite strong. We do also meet another person who has fallen and kind of just appeared here from a different time, being Ingo. I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, I'm from the Sinnoh region. But he is part of the Pearl clan and kind of helps out with navigating. He has a weird kind of tendency to navigate. Coronet Highlands is the closest spot to the paradox. Yeah, the time-space paradox rift. And this is the next location for us. Melly really wants to stop our progress, and in doing so, we do have to battle him a couple of times. But we also go ahead and go on the choo-choo train that is Ingo inside of one of the caves, and there's no lights anywhere. Melly is just becoming a bother at this point, and we have to go and battle him. So our Golem goes in for a couple of Bulldozes, because Bulldoze slows down its action speed, and with that, Skuntank is able to be fallen. Volo is still following us, it seems, everywhere, and Ingo wants to battle us now. Good deal. I think he's a good battler. I start with Wormadam, who is able to get a couple of confusions off into the Machoke, but of course, living at 1 HP. That's like the 3rd time now. Tangela is next, and Ursaluna is able to get a good amount of damage with Ice Punch before taking pretty solid damage from Energy Ball, almost killing me, but another Ice Punch is able to take out the vines. Gliscor is in the back. Ground type representation, you love to see it, but you know, it has so much defense, it ate the quad effective Ice Punch. Like, I don't understand. After missing way too many attacks with Wish Cash, Gliscor is no longer obscured and Icy Wind takes it out. I have to trust the very tall Sneasler to try and get up the hill, but after I play my Flute Flourish, she just bullies me. Well, thanks, I guess. We don't even need to use her to traverse the rest of the place, as we could just kind of jump on Weirder's back and climb up anyways. But we do see another encounter in Gligar, who's not used at all. Yeah, I don't use him at all. I have to fight Melly before quelling the Electrode in the back, but Skuntank has other plans for my Steelix. Wishcash comes in to try to avenge his brother, and after taking a little bit of damage, we are able to take out the skunk with a pair of Earth Powers. So other Pokemon are very weak, but as I am very low in health and they like to use agile moves, I am overrun by a Scorpion and Zubat. But of course our Golem is able to come in and kick both of them out. Well, next off is trying to actually use the Pokeballs to calm the Pokeball, as the Pokebombs are now falling from the sky and trying to destroy me. I decided to do some battling, as I missed a lot of the throws inside of this fight. But after quelling the big ball, we are able to get another little rock. He's so happy. Oh my gosh. There's one more encounter to get here, and oh, is that an Alpha Gabite? Wait, what? Okay, let's try and... Okay, fine. We'll go and get a Gibble. But this is another ground type. I'm happy. You're happy. That's 4 Lords down. Look at that. Well, there's only Avalugg left. He's not really doing anything, but he's huge and scary. So you never know what could happen. Ray wants to battle us once again, and he knows he's going to lose. Well, let's give it to him. Wish Cash is versus his Mr. Mime, and this is kind of where Sandy is losing that beginner's luck, per se, as Ray now has Pokemon at a much higher level than our own by at least 7 of them. Going Cake's level 46s, while my strongest is not even 40 yet, is not really something that I want to continue. But luckily the battle is still fairly easy, and yeah, now I am frozen inside of the Alabaster Icelands. Irida is practically sweating, however, but we do have to meet up with one of her wardens here, Garrick, who's way too buff and doesn't have a lot of clothes on, so I'm a little scared of him. But this Glalie and Frostlass combination is not really so good for my bug and ground type. So we switch in Steelix, who's able to knock out Glalie with a pair of Iron Heads, and since Frostlass is so much lower level, I'm not really worried. Sabi makes us chase her to actually get access to Braviary, as we need to go and get the Eternal Ice, which is a favorite food item of Avalugg. But why does she want to run around so much? I run to catch up to her for her to run again, and now I'm at top of this random temple, in which we have to go and press different type-oriented stone petals and finally get all the way up the hill. But Sabi's team is stacked. Why does she have all these trade evolution Pokemon? I mean, Electivire's not going to do anything to us, and Magmortar's just kind of hanging out, as it's, I mean, not really strong against anyone in particular. But it's still able to take out my Wish Cash, and with Golem switching in 10 levels under her Rhyperior, mind you, we're still 10 levels above the other two, so it's fine. To gain Braviary's trust, it challenges us to a battle and wants to stall for a little bit, but, you know, a couple of rock slides are more than enough to take it out. So now we are able to glide with Braviary as we use it jumping off of the temple to get the Eternal Ice, and apparently Garrett climbed this entire sculpture that Sneasler couldn't. Apparently I needed the bird so badly when this superhuman man with like chiseled abs was able to go up this entire structure. Like, why didn't he just go? Volo is still chasing us around the region. You know, I'm still mad at Garrett, so it's just carrying over. And Avalugg is insanely huge. It kind of confuses me that the alpha Avaluggs aren't nearly this size. I mean, sure, it's not a lord of sorts if they're just alphas, but being 100 feet tall is insane. Kamado then congratulates us on quelling all 5 of the lords inside of each of the regions. And, you know, that's pretty high praise. I'm feeling pretty good about where we are, really secure in life, and I think Sandy's going to live here for a real good while and prosper. Oh my god, the sky is literally green and red. Oh, and just like that, Kamado's trust evaporates. We just are thrown under the bus for everything that has happened so far, being expelled from the Galaxy team and from Jubilee Village. You know, we can't really get any help from our own Galaxy team members, as we have been excommunicated and banished and whatnot, so we then inquire the help of the clans that we met along the lane. Yeah, Liam is not going to help us. There's nothing that he can do, apparently. And same with mine from the Diamond clan. Sadly, there's not a lot that they can do. And we kind of relish inside of this space of emptiness, trying to figure out where to go in life. As a very docile Shinx approaches us, we're reminded about why we're here. You know, we're able to change our own natures. Shinx are aggressive in the wild, and even though it was next to its parents, it didn't want to attack us, and we have to install that change for everyone in Hisui. Who's there? Volo, what are you doing here, dog? Why are you so obsessed with me? Ugh, I don't get it, but help is help, and he brings us to Kogita, who is a little way too knowledgeable about all this history stuff too, telling us that we need to go and create the red chain. This, of course, is done through the Lake Guardians, but we do need a little bit more assistance and have to pick between the 2 leaders of the Diamond and Pearl clans and end up picking Adaman to join us on our journey. Using my phone, I break a rock into a cave. And now we're going through the process of beating up a specific alpha and gaining the trust of said Lake Guardians. Mind you, we are still so far inside the levels, almost 20 at this point. But, you know, since we have numbers over people, we're still able to beat up these alphas without too much trouble. After beating up the alpha, we do have to do a certain puzzle of sorts in which we are given a specific item from each of the Lake Guardians. These items are required so that we can make the red chain. After going to the Coronet Highlands, all three of them congregate and bestoweth upon us the most ultimate binding tool. Why are they trusting a child with this is beyond me, but it doesn't matter. We go back to Jubilife City as we're officially reinstated by Silene, acting commander. You know, that's fine enough with me. Oh my gosh, we banished you and you came back and helped us out? Yeah, I don't know why I did any of that. You guys suck, like a lot. We also find out that Benny is actually a ninja of sorts who grew up with Kamado. And yeah, no, it is time for us to battle him. We dodged a hypnosis on the first turn with our golem, and 2 rock slides are more than enough to take out Miss Magius. He then has a Sneasler who does a combo of 2 quick attacks into a close combat. Like, holy flex, you didn't need to do all of that, sir. Please calm down. Ursaluna is able to take out Sneasler with a revengeful high horsepower, and Gallade comes in third. It does do a good amount of damage to us with Drain Punch, but Shadowclaw is able to get it to about a third or so. Steelix is able to close out that part of the fight, and Gardevoir switches in last, who takes almost an Oko from the Iron Head, but able to best our Steelix before Torterra can close up the fight. We then learn a little bit more about the backstory about Kamado and himself, and how they're actually really good friends whose village was destroyed by Pokemon. So, time to go and battle Kamado, the man who banned us, and we are so damn under level that we just we can't keep up with this team. I don't know why I had Gabite here. I think I wanted to train him, but it's time for training. It's fine. We'll just go and get some levels from some high level alphas. We get up to kind of low 50s and battle Kamado again. Going for Ice Punch gets a Frostbite, and a second Ice Punch knocks out the Breviary. Next is Snorlax, and it has a lot of defense and has been in the fight for a lot less time than Ursaluna. Because of this, of course, it lives on 1 HP and takes out my bear. Torterra is able to get a revenge kill, also killing the Follow Golem, and a pair of Iron Heads is able to take out Clefable. Good stuff, and Kamado does the Kamado bow, you know, very respectful, apologizing for his actions. Adaman's hearing voices in his head. Oh, what the hell? Wait, dude, where did that come from? Let's use the chain. And yeah, we're able to almost Oko Dialga, which is actually kind of insane. We catch the God of Time, and Adaman, stop listening to voices in your head. You're just summoning things. Where the hell did this thing come from? We gotta go because it's about to like explode us. We don't have another red chain, so instead we strategize on using the bits and scraps of the original chain, as well as some pretty fancy, cool glowing rocks that Liam knows about, so that we can make another useful item to be able to bind things. Of course, we're fortunate enough to see the Fortune Sisters, and fortunate enough to only have to battle Charm this time around. Rhydon and Gengar go down way too quick, and they're irrelevant once again. Liam pulls out what is called Origin Ore, and with combination of the red chain scraps, we are able to get the Origin Ball. Kogita makes us bring Dialga up the hill, and Volo is still watching us. Palkia goes kind of crazy, turns into a weird horse thing, and explodes the temple, but Dialga is able to protect us since it's evil. Evil? It's its equal, you know, and now we have to go and calm down Palkia just a little bit by throwing some space bombs. I don't know how they were made, but we got them. And I do like the Origin Ball in a way, because right here, this is the only ball in the game that shakes 3 times. So it almost makes you think like the Origin Ball is the original ball. I think I'm kind of stupid for making that connection, but Kamado is even stupider for throwing Adaman. I think that was very, very useful. But That's all we gotta do, I think, right? Wrong! Volo is still here, still stalking us. It's time to get a mammal swine, and we have to get the rest of the plates, as apparently that is something that Volo has been trying to do himself as well, but we've been getting luckier. Vespiquen, the bug and flying type, drops the stone plate. You know, it's quad weak to rock types, so why wouldn't it have the stone plate just handy? Kamado challenges us to a rematch, and he's holding on to an item that we need, and has a Heracross this time, but his fight is very similar to the one before, this time Torterra closing out against Breviary. And the fist plate. We almost died to a Heatran before getting the iron plate. We also catch a Zelf, Mesprit, as well as Uxie, so that we can get the next plate, the Draco plate. We also find Regigigas, and after catching him, we get the Blink plate. We have to catch Cresselia, who gives us the last plate, a Dread plate. Well, last for our missions at least. Kogita needs 3 logs, so we try and help her out, and she gives us her cutting board, the Pixie plate. She is very confused by this, of course, and Volo is way too excited about this plate being found, as now we have basically all the plates, I'm pretty sure, and she was literally eating that. She was eating the plate, guys. Volo brings us to the Coronet Highlands and starts maniacally laughing in front of our faces. There's been no reason to really like this guy. He's just been doing this whole thing, and of course he has another plate. Well, that makes 18, and this makes a crazy person. He mega evolves on top of the tower, and his obsession with Arceus is a little much for me. Ursaluna goes in, gets us good old play rough into the Spirit Tomb. Quick attack and bulk up combo from the Lucario is not enough for my next move to take it down in one hit. Rose Raid misses a Petal Dance, and Ice Sponge is able to OHKO that as well. Ursaluna is doing way too much work, but a double Raging Fury, Agile, and Destruct style is enough to take us out. Whiscash takes it out with a Water Pulse, still the strongest special type water move it has, and Togekiss and Whiscash kind of dance for a little while. I get a crit with Icy Wind, which is great, and since it is slowed down, we're able to take it out in the next turn. Dragon Claw ends up killing my Whiscash. That's fine, but Mamoswine is able to get an Ice Shard into an Icicle Crash, knocking out Garchomp. And now it's for the crazy twist moment that we all were anticipating inside of this run. It's Giratina time, baby! Giratina! No! Back up! It is time! Gets a nasty Aura Sphere into our Mamoswine as we take about a third of its health with Icicle Crash. Torterra switches in for an Iron Head and takes some damage from Shadow Force as he gets obscured. I really hate obscurity inside this game. Headlong Rush goes okay damage, but also lowers our defenses. We live on 4 HP after another Shadow Force and hit another Headlock Rush, and it lives on 1! That's like the 6th time in this entire run! Steelix is able to get it into its pure power form, its origin form. Yeah, goddamn, that's scary. I'm sorry. Aura Sphere almost takes us out. We go for a Bulldoze as there's not a lot else that we can do. Maybe we'll try and slow it down. Earth Power kills us the next turn. We go for Dragon Outrage and it gets missed. And Dragon Claw almost kills us, but we have to go for a strong style Outrage so we can try and get some kind of damage onto the Giratina. As there's only one Pokemon in the back who's already damaged. He takes it out with Dragon Claw this turn, and all we have is Icicle Crash and Ice Shard. We go for a strong style Icicle Crash so that we can make sure that we actually land the attack on the Giratina, and we take it out! Oh my god! Finally, we are done with Volo. That took like 7 tries, by the way. No, screw you, game. I don't need to hear that sass, okay? We finally beat the Stalker, who is way too jealous of us, as we also get the Azure Flute after getting all of the plates. He kind of just walks off way too mad. I hope he doesn't, use these emotions anywhere. But, yeah, Sandy is now reflecting on the time that she spent in the Hisui region, detached from the present Sinnoh, detached from all her friends and family, and kind of just hangs out at Prelude Beach, as it is the sandiest place known to man. there's not really much else for her to do, as there's no connection for her to try and get back to her time, and kind of just exists with her newfound friends for the rest of eternity. So now you can tell how hard it is to be a ground-type trainer in the Hisui region. It gets easier with time, like all things, and that's something that we all have to pay attention to. Hope you have a good one, and that you enjoyed this video. Bye.